how's it going everyone? I am Splat2431 here with some more Pokemon news. And recently, some new Pokemon have been revealed along with some new gameplay features for Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon via a brand new trailer and the increase of information on the Pokemon website. So, starting off with the Pokemon, let's get into it. So first of all, we have a Pokemon called Wimpod. It's a combination of the words pod and wimp. Basically what it is a bug water type and has a height of 1.08, has a weight of 26.5 pounds, and has a brand new ability called Wimp Out. Next we have another new Pokemon called Bonesweet. It kind of reminds me of Cherubi. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Cherubi and Cherub. Also kind of reminds me of Oddish and Badoo. It's kind of like a mix of all those Pokemon to me. It's basically a berry, and it is a grass type as you would expect, and has a height of 1.00, has a weight of 7.1 pounds, and has the abilities Leaf Guard and Oblivious. Next we have a Pokemon called Comfey. This is a Pokemon based on Hawaiian Lays, and it is a fairy type and has a height of 0.4 and has a weight of 0.7 pounds, so another very light Pokemon, and it has the abilities Flower Veil and Triage. Next we have this huge horse looking Pokemon, and it is called Mudsdale. It is a ground type Pokemon, has a height of 8.02 and has a huge weight of 2028.3 pounds. This is probably because in the trailer you see it kicking its legs, so that's probably why. And has the abilities Own Tempo and Stamina. Stamina being a new ability. And next we have an older Pokemon, one we've seen before, called Mimikyu. And this one keeps its Japanese name, but there is one difference between its Japanese name and its English name here, is that the K was originally a C. Okay. And this Pokemon is a Ghost Fairy type, has a height of 0.08 and a weight of 1.5 pounds, and has the ability Disguise, so they changed the name of the exclusive ability it has from False Colors to Disguise, it seems. Also, so next we have the Pokemon that was originally called in Japanese Kitaraguma, and its new name is called Beware. Literally, beware. Like bear, beware. Oh man, that's so silly. But anyway, it is a normal fighting type, has a height of 6.11, and has a weight of 297.6 pounds, and has the abilities Fluffy and Klutz. Alright, so of course, as with all the Pokemon, we have brand new descriptions on the Pokemon website, so let's read. Let's start off with Wimpod here, and here's what it says. Wimpod have a cowardly nature and are wary of noises and sudden movements. If you approach them in a group, they'll immediately run off. When Wimpod feel threatened, they spit out a poisonous liquid. The stench of this toxic fluid signals others that danger is near. Despite their extreme cowardice, their curiosity leads Wimpod to approach people or Pokemon that are standing still. That's weird. Specifically things that are standing still. Wow. The Wimpod eat and store anything that they find fallen on the ground. They also scavenge any garbage that's been dropped in the sea, so they're highly valued as cleaners. they sometimes carry pearls or other valuable items, so humans or Pokemon like Murkrow may target them. Wimpod has the new Wimpout ability, an ability that no other Pokemon has had before. With the Wimpout ability, if this Pokemon's HP drops below half in battle, it will run away or switch to another Pokemon. So yeah, basically it's literally what you'd think the ability would do. It runs away during battle. You see that in the trailer. Once its HP drops below half, it just runs away, flees the battle. And it seems like what they didn't show in the trailer was that in a trainer battle, if it's a caught Wimpod, that it'll actually switch out to a different Pokemon, so it's not gonna be like useless, because obviously you can't run away in trainer battles. Alright, so next we move on to Bonsweet's description. Because it exudes a delicious smell from its entire body, Bonsweet is popular with Pokemon and people of the Alola region. Bonsweet's scent has a calming effect on humans, so many people let them live inside their homes as a sort of air freshener. Unfortunately, it's sometimes swallowed whole by Pokemon drawn to its aroma. What? Yeah, these descriptions get pretty weird. So yeah, it's shown to have a very nice smell, so they kind of just show up in people's houses, but they let them in because they don't bother them. But because of that scent, it's often swollen whole by Pokemon without even being known that it's being swallowed. Wow. When running away from other Pokemon, Bonsweet flees danger by skipping along the ground. Since its bouncy movements don't convey to others that it's actually in desperate flight, no one ever comes to its aid. Wow! So even when it's running away to find help, it can't, because nobody assumes that it's actually in danger just because the way it jumps around. Because it has to jump around to actually move. Okay, so when attacked by enemies, it drives them off by rotating the calyx on its head. The downside is how dizzy it gets afterward. Wow. Alright, so let's move on to Comfey's description. Comfey picks flowers and always carries them around. It makes a ring of blossoms and spreads oil from its body onto it, which changes the flowers so they emit a soothing fragrance. It has a habit of giving these flower rings to those it's fond of. The aroma can soothe both itself and its allies. Comfey also helps with the treatment of people and Pokemon in Pokemon centers and hospitals, thanks to its aroma. When attacked by other Pokemon, it throws its flowers at them to create an opening, then it either flees or strikes back. So yeah, this Pokemon is a fairy type, and you see that kind of trait that fairy type Pokemon have, with all about kindness and stuff, and purity. Alright, so then it goes on to speak about its ability, which says, Comfey can have the new Triage ability, an ability that no other Pokemon has had before. With the Triage ability, this Pokemon's restorative moves gain the highest priority in battle, so that's pretty interesting. Like, with the defensive Pokemon, usually have healing moves, so what you always want to be able to do is you want to be able to heal before the opponent can actually attack you first. So you want to have a high speed for that if you're in danger of actually losing all your HP. So this, it gives priority to specifically healing moves, so you can do that. It says the highest priority, so would that mean even above switching, like Pursuit or something, or is it just a higher priority, so something like Quick Attack? We don't know, but I guess we'll find out when we play the game. Alright, so next up is Mudsdale. Mudsdale is known for its powerful body as well as its emotional fortitude, which keeps it from being agitated by anything. It never cries out, no matter what kind of trouble it's in. And it defeats its opponents with a single powerful blow. Its legs are coated in protective mud. Wow, so the thing that's on its legs are mud? That must be very solid mud. And the weight of its coating increases the force of its kicks. One kick and a car is a pile of scrap. Wow. Mudsdale's running speed is not too swift, but it has excellent power and stamina. It can carry on for 3 days and 3 nights despite dragging loads over 10 tons. Right, so it looks like we're going to have a Pokemon that's very good in physical defense and physical attack, and maybe not too good in the other kinds of attack and defense, so yeah, you know, for the sake of balancing. Okay, when Mudsdale gallops in earnest, the power of each hoof clump can dig out huge holes, even in asphalt. Mudsdale is forbidden to run on some of Alola's public roads. Wow. Mudsdale can have the new Stamina ability. Okay, so the new ability. An ability that no other Pokemon has had before. With the Stamina ability, this Pokemon's defense goes up by 1 when it's hit by an attack. So yeah, you see that in the trailer, and you see it taking barely any damage, and then when hit by an attack, its defense increases by 1 stage. So that means that any attack you do on it, it's going to increase its damage by 1. So it's kind of like Speed Boost, but you have to get hit by an attack, and it's for defense. So wow, that's probably going to be a very defensive Pokemon that can also dish out some good damage probably. Alright, so next, moving on to Mimikyu. Mimikyu lives its life completely covered by its cloth, and it is always hidden. People believe that anybody who sees its true form beneath the cloth will be stricken with a mysterious illness. People in the Alola region are convinced that you must never try to peek beneath its covering. Mimikyu's health fails when it's bathed in the rays of the sun, so it prefers to stick to dark places. It's rumors that the reason it covers itself with a cloth is to avoid sunlight. The rising popularity of Pikachu-styled merchandise around 20 years ago is the reason that Mimikyu makes itself look like a Pikachu. In fact, this Pokemon is dreadfully lonely, and it is thought that it would be able to make friends with humans if only it looked like Pikachu. So yeah, that's kind of what you always see in Ghost and Dark-type Pokédex entries, or Ghost-type Pokemon and Dark-type Pokemon. You always see something sad like that, or super weird or creepy. Okay, so then it goes on to talk about its ability, of course. Mimikyu has the Disguise ability, a new ability that no Pokemon has ever had before possessed. The Disguise ability allows it to escape damage from an enemy's attack just one time. Then its appearance changes. Okay, so that gives a little more explanation. Because in the trailer you see that after it takes a little damage from an attack, it kind of droops its little head, and then it says some message like the Mimikyu's disguise failed or something like that. Okay. Yeah, so basically it seems like it's going to act like a free substitute, except that it's only going to work once because it's an ability. So that's pretty interesting right there. So like Focus Sash with that, maybe it can survive 2 complete hits, whereas like Substitute, it doesn't always give you like a free hit. I think some moves can hit through it, so who knows how that might work. Gotta know the specifics of these kinds of things to see how good they really are. Okay, so next we move on to Be Rare. When Bewear is acting in a friendly fashion, just swinging its arms around, you must never dare to approach it carelessly. It is acknowledged to be a dangerous Pokemon, even within the Alola region. You may see warning signs posted near places it resides. When Bewear grows fond of its trainer, it may show that feeling in a fond embracement. But the force of that hug is tremendous. Trainers must teach these Pokemon how to restrain their strength when showing affection. Wow. Bewear may have the Fluffy ability, a new ability that no Pokemon has ever possessed before. The Fluffy ability halves the damage taken from attacks that make direct contact, but in return it also doubles the damage taken from Fire-type moves. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Kinda like Huge Power right there, where Huge Power, it doubles your attack or something. Yeah, I think that's what Huge Power does. It doubles your attack, whereas this, it halves the amount of damage you take, but as a trade-off, you take double damage from Fire-type moves. So essentially, it's pretty much weak to fire, even though its typing doesn't really make it so. Its ability makes it so. Yeah. Alright, so next we have a really exciting new feature called Hyper Training, and this new feature is so amazing because it allows you to increase your Pokemon's IV stats, which has previously never been able to be done before, with the exception of passing down specific IVs onto other Pokemon via breeding. And you know, that is not a good process. That is very tiresome and boring and RNG based, which this allows you to have specific Pokemon that you might have, and you can get those Pokemon up in terms of EVs rather than just leaving them there and having to get another one that has better IVs. Alright, so in the screenshot you can see the player talking to an NPC. This is going to be a new NPC called Mr. Hyper, and who collects bottle caps in return for increasing your Pokemon's IVs. And there are different kinds of bottle caps because it is shown that a Magearna will be distributed and it will be holding a silver bottle cap. So a bottle cap is not a single item, it is rather a type of items. So there's going to be different kinds of bottle caps. So here you can see the stats of a regular wild Pikachu and the stats after its IVs have all been increased to maximum. So this was found on Cerebi. This is where I found it from. So the IVs on this Pikachu are 5 for HP, 10 for attack, 7 for defense, 17 for special attack, 10 for special defense, and 9 for speed, and then afterwards it's all 31s for every stat. So yeah, you can see the stat increases in the screenshots. For example, the attack stat goes from 125 to 146, and that defense goes from 92 to a defense of 116. So yeah, you can see the stats of the Pikachu increasing right there. But also that, I think it was said somewhere that Pikachu's actual base stats were also changed a little. I think 5 points were changed, so maybe that might have made this harder to calculate. But either way, that brings into question though, since there's going to be different kinds of bottle caps, we know that now because there's a silver bottle cap, and they specifically say silver bottle cap rather than bottle cap as the item name, so that must mean that there's different kinds of bottle caps. So how much will each bottle cap increase the IVs by, and also how rare will they be. So here's a little chart I made to show what I think each type of bottle cap will increase the IVs by, and a given item to compare to how rare I think they might be. Alright, so first of all, I think the gold bottle cap will increase by 5 and be as rare as a rare candy. So yeah, you don't find rare candies too much, and I'm not talking about buying rare candies through Pokémiles or, you know, battle points in things like Battle Majon. Yeah, I'm not counting that because that's you directly getting them. I'm talking about finding them. I'm talking about the odds of you finding them through something like wild Pokemon hold items, or finding them through a hidden item, or Rock Smash or something like that. So yeah, that's what I think for gold rank. Then silver rank will be 3 and be about as rare as hard stones. I mean, you find hard stones a fair amount, not too common, but you find enough to get at least 10 or so over time. By rock smashing, you know, rocks. So that gets you a lot of them. So then you have the bronze rank, which is obviously going to be the lowest, which would probably increase it by 1 and probably be as rare as hard scales. So yeah, regularly you can get hard scales by, I think it's a 50% chance on all gloves discs as their hold items. So yeah, that's gonna increase your IVs by a very low amount, being just 1. So yeah, I think it's interesting that they would have different ranks for the bottle caps rather than them just being a singular item, and also will probably increase them by different amounts. But this is all just speculation from me as to what these different kinds of ranks will increase the IVs by, and as to what rarity they will have. And that's not even going into the method in which you might obtain them, let alone if there's any sorts of limits on how much they can be used or whatever. And finally, let's talk about the second new feature called friendly competitions, is what they're calling it here. So this is really cool too, because we can essentially host our own competitions now. So you might remember that the Pokemon Global Links hosts some cool competitions like Kanto Classic and Flash Clash and things like that. Those competitions are really fun. Now you can make your own, so this is going to be really cool. So here we have a screenshot that shows all the kinds of options you have for the competition you make. I mean, this is really like Mario Kart 8, where you can make your own competitions there, and that's pretty fun. So here you can see you can set a competition name. You have 2 lines. You have 2 lines worth of the name. Then you have a competition summary, where you can write a short description about your competition, of what it's like. Then you have a battle format. It's either single or double, so there's no triple rotation or inverse there, or whatever brand new, or even battle royale, or whatever other brand new types of battles we may not know how are going to be introduced. It's only single and double for some reason, but at least there's an option. Alright, so then you could also choose the eligible Pokemon. You can choose Pokemon that's only from the Alola Pokédex or the National Pokédex, so that would be all the Pokemon. And then you can also choose whether Pokemon from Pokemon Bank are allowed, or basically meaning all Pokemon caught from Gens 1 to 6 are allowed, including the Pokemon caught in Gen 7, or you can set it to so only Pokemon caught in Gen 7 are allowed. And this next one is competition period. And this one's a little interesting because I noticed something weird here. It says it allows you to choose one date. One date. So does that mean that competitions can only last one day? That seems pretty weird, because then it says a few options down, number of battles allowed per day, so that must mean more than one day. But here you see they selected the day, and in the orange text it says from the 1st of the 11th 2017 to the 1st of the 11th 2016. Sorry, 2017. That's only one day. Surely you should be able to choose more than one day, but you can choose times too. But you choose them in hours. So you choose them in hours. You can't choose minutes or seconds, because that would be kind of ridiculous. Okay, so this next one also confuses me a little bit, because it says time limits. So I don't know what this seems to be, but it seems there's two things that this could be. It could either mean that the overall time could be 10 minutes for the whole battle, or 30 minutes for the whole battle, and that's not what I think it is, because it says your time 10 minutes and match time 30 minutes. So the fact that it specifically says that, I don't think that's the most likely possibility, but it still is one, given the way this page is kind of laid out. It doesn't look like it's a text box to me, because you see that one text box, those three text boxes above where you can actually type in. So I think you actually select how long the move selection time is, and which is probably going to be the same amount of time you can use for switching Pokemon, and then select the amount of time it takes. Wait a minute. But it says your time 10 minutes. 10 minutes for selecting move. No, that can't be it. So yeah, actually now that I think about it, it probably is just how long the battle will take. Yeah. Okay, so next we have amount of battles per day. Yeah. So in this case they've chosen one, so obviously you choose how many battles you would want to have per day. So I don't know, maybe you could have like something fair like 10, something really low like 10, like I said, or you could have something really crazy like 40 battles per day, and that could be insane. Okay, so then you have and then you have a competition type, which is either public or private, and it seems that when it's going to be public, anyone can access your competition or at least view it, and then when it's a private competition, it seems like nobody other than the people you specify can view it, and I think that's for viewing it. Okay, so yeah, and then moving on to the final option, it says the participating trainers. So that's clearly different from the competition type, because the options are everyone and specified trainers only. So if you say everyone, surely anyone is allowed to play that has the link, I assume, or QR code or whatever it is you use to access this competition or sign up. And then the specified trainers only option, it should be pretty much for players only you specify, because you see next to that there's a grayed out button that says specified trainer, so this player has set it to everyone, and so that button is grayed out. But obviously if you had clicked the specified trainers only button, then you can choose what players you would like to participate in the tournament. So then there's a previous button, and then a confirm the content button. Okay, so on the next screenshot of the friendly competition page, it shows the user finalizing their decisions of the competition. So it shows the competition summary, the host, the amount of participants, and it shows how many how many more they're waiting for, the time of the competition, the times of it, and there's a button that you can click to check out the regulation details. So it's pretty similar to the actual competition pages. Not completely, but fairly similar to the competition pages for the previous Pokemon Global Link competitions. So there's an option there to display the QR code. So you see there's going to be a QR code for each competition. I think probably only for private ones, but maybe it's for public ones too. Okay, and I guess that about wraps it up for this video. So thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like because it helps with the channel a lot, and be sure to subscribe for some more Pokemon news. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.